days, the Tanjung Pagar Station Hotel was well patronized by captains and rich travelers. But after 5 decades, it began to lose its luster. More hotels also sprung up to compete with it. Business spiraled downwards when the hotel's poorly maintained estate drove away more customers. In 1993, a rental dispute between the Lim family and KTM forced the Station Hotel to shut down. The area occupied by the hotel's pub and restaurant was later taken over by a food center.
When we closed, a part of our life gone and all that, just forget it,
All that's left for Keong now are these precious silverware, which he salvaged from the hotel when the family was evicted. But not everything about the hotel shines. Nobody knows why the Station Hotel was said to be haunted. Perhaps the shadows of its past as a Second World War hospital were still looming large over it. And this little dark side is still buried deep in Keong's memory.
One night, my brother slept there. It was in the night, and then he heard heavy breathing and all that under the bed. And he got up and just ran out of the room. And the other thing was, he actually saw people carrying coffin out from that window and then onto the railway track.
Despite the abrupt end to his family's fortune, Keong, who is now a businessman dealing with musical instruments, has taken away some valuable lessons from his days at the hotel.
You learn to be patient with people. And the first thing when a new customer comes in, always think good of that person and think that, he's a nice guy, he's here to support you. So never have a bad impression of people when you first meet them.
Master Ayub too has learned the virtue of good customer service after serving as a KTM station master for more than 2 decades. The quietness at Labis has not dampened his spirit of putting others before himself. The lack of buzz at the workplace has also been more than offset by a happier family life. Now, Master Ayub is able to return home every day after work. His family lives just 20 minutes away from the Labis station.
In Singapore, you see like once a week, twice a week something. It got tiring also after coming back, then the next morning come back to Singapore.
Not surprisingly, the other person who shares his newfound joy is his wife of 27 years. Zaiton Rahman, who single-handedly brought up their 7 children in the last 6 years, is looking forward to sharing more time with her husband.
Perubahan dia cuma segembira je lah dia dekat dengan saya kan. Dulu cuma dia jauh, dia punya makan minum semua dekat sana dia sendiri buat.
While Master Ayub and the other relocated KTM staff have somewhat adapted to life back home, the Singaporeans displaced by the closing of Tanjung Pagar Station are making adjustments more slowly. Ali Latif has relocated his stall a few streets away from the station after it was closed. Although many loyal customers returned to him and business is still brisk, his fond memory of the station remains a baggage.
The facilities, the ambience is totally different. It's totally different. Down there is a kind of concept that, like I told you before, every walks of life, from rich, poor, professionals, all will come there and enjoy themselves there. And the sitting area was very, very much bigger. And customers doesn't complain of not getting a seat or whatsoever. My plan was that I thought, okay, until the end of my career, I could stick down there and carry on with my business. And unfortunately, we have to go in, we go. So, sense of loss is definitely a lot. You feel it a lot.
The sense of loss did not hit Nawa until she decided to visit her grandmother in Tampin after Ramadan, the Muslims' fasting month. It was the first time she boarded the KTM train at the Woodlands checkpoint in Singapore.
You don't miss it until you go to Woodlands station, then you realize, oh no, the train experience will never be the same again.
This 26-year-old Singaporean has been travelling by train since she was 5. It was her grandparents who introduced the fascinating train ride experience to her.
So it was kind of like the start of our indulgence, our journey. It will continue in the village, but the train was like our little place for us and our grandparents to sort of sit together, and she would feed us a lot of sweets and all that thing. But as we grew older, and when my grandparents permanently moved to Malaysia, I had very few chances of travelling on the train with her.
Still, Nawa would take the 5-hour KTM train ride up north to visit her grandparents whenever possible. And starting the ride from the Tanjung Pagar station had always given her a sense of security and the comfort of familiarity.
I'm somebody who likes things that are constant, the things that don't change from when I was young. So it adds a very positive start to my journey. So from there, then I'll take the train with my family.
Although the Tanjung Pagar station still holds great childhood memories for Nawa, she's willing to learn to embrace the irreversible change. To her, what's more important is the meaning of the train ride, a transport mode that has over the years morphed into a symbol of an unbreakable bond between her and her granny.
The significance of train travel and its place in the relationship between me and my grandmother, I think it is a link between us, but it is also something that I think needs to be there, because it is something that she needs to be there in order for her to come to us comfortably and safely.
Despite being less mobile now, Nawa's grandparents are still taking the train down to Singapore occasionally for their medical checkups. And the spacious Woodlands station that requires long walks does pose a challenge for elderly folks like them.
Bila itu kan, orang pun dah lepas, gue tinggal belakang tu. kata Pudia yang jaga tu kan, macam mana? Kaki sakit, tak boleh jalan laju. Teresok kan, pasal dia punya cap pasport tu jauh sangat. Kau dapat dekat sikit aku.
For both of them who love all things old, they can never imagine what travel would be like without the KTM trains. And most of all, they do miss the Tanjung Pagar station dearly.
Dulu tu benda istimewa tu bangunan tu lah. Bangunan tu yang cantik lah pada COVID lah.
If you take it out, it will be incomplete lah. My life story will be incomplete.
While KTM Tanjung Pagar station awaits her fate, Nawa and many rail fans will continue to reminisce the good old days they've shared with the colonial Dane. Lives and stories past will forever be told from generations to generations, all buried in our hearts and minds, helping us to carry on the journey beyond. Their obsession knows no boundary.
If you see my passport after 1st of July, there's actually a lot of Malaysian shops.
His love knows no limit.
I think about 100 models over the last 25 years.
His fascination becomes a lifelong quest.
Some of my collection is here would have taken me 10 years, 15 years.
The quirky affection between man and machine on Beyond the Last Journey, Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.